Pavarotti Sings the Blues will not be seen at this time. In its place, we present the following out-of-tune program.
It's the late 1980s, and Nickelodeon has yet to see the dark future that lies ahead. However, for today's topic, Nickelodeon would find themselves in court. But Nickelodeon would not be on trial, nor would they be the defendant. In fact, it was the Nickelodeon fans that would be on trial. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Macabre'Gorium Labs presents School of Boredom Nickelodeon Edition Quickies. I'm your host, Bats, and today, I'll see you in court, because for today's topic, we're going to discuss a weird Nickelodeon show where kids were both judge and jury. This is the testimony of Nickelodeon's Kids Court.
Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon.
Before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to the entire audience. Thank you all so much. We just hit 400 subscribers. And I would have loved to have gone deeper into detail for this particular video, but footage and information was scarce to say the least. But you know I'm going to do the best I can.
It is the Macabre'Gorium Labs way.
Today's video takes us all the way back to September 10th, 1988, where Nickelodeon would have Albie Hike, Alan Goodman, and Fred Siebert produce a show for kids that was set in the same style of shows like The People's Court or Judge Judy. Only in this show, the studio audience was both judge and jury. The setup for this program was that kids would send letters with complaints or disagreements they had experienced into the show, and the studio audience members would portray both parties involved in something of a mock trial. And yes, I said mock trial. These were not actual legal proceedings, and the cases involved were not actually crimes. In fact, it was more like this. Hey, what's up, dude? Your videos suck. Whoa! Maybe you'd be better off going back to being an unknown mediocre artist. No need to be a jerk. You're a doofus. That's it. That's it. You're gonna get it now. Dear Kids Court, this weirdo said my videos suck and I should quit YouTube, and they even hinted that my artwork is bad. After I responded politely, they called me a doofus. I think this sucks. If they don't like me, why can't they just ignore me? I think they should have to pay in some way. Signed, a YouTuber.
Welcome to Nickelodeon's Kids Court, where you send us the cases, we act them out, look at both sides, and then we vote on who's guilty and what their sentence should be.
So then the case is brought to Kids Court. Two kids from the audience will take the positions of both the plaintiff and the defendant and try their best to represent the case they were given. During the proceedings, the show's host, Paul Provenza, would ask questions to the studio audience and walk around, giving the now juried audience the opportunity to weigh in and give their thoughts as the case progresses. For those curious, Paul Provenza is a stand-up comedian best known for his work in shows like Beggars and Choosers, Empty Nest, Northern Exposure, and more than a handful of movies. So after both sides have had a chance to state their cases, it's left to the jury to decide the outcome. And this is where we meet the Judge-O-Meter, a cardboard judge with decibel meters for eyes. Paul then asks the audience to vote for one side, then the other, and this is done by asking, "Okay, jury, if you think Bats is awesome and this video has earned him your subscription, let's hear it. Sound off." Woo! Alright, if you think Bats is a doofus, sound off, let's hear it. Well, you heard it here first. Bats is in fact a doofus. Hey bud, maybe go get some pencils for that art career of yours, huh? Then, if the defendant was proven guilty, a punishment would be suggested. And these punishments would differ greatly depending on the case. This show also had two courtroom artists with Asha and Nobi, whom would draw a scene as portrayed during the case, although not one of the courtroom. Kids Court also featured guests from time to time. These guests were usually specialists in a field that was related to the complaint. And then there were also little fun fact interstitials before and I think after commercial breaks, and these usually had nothing to do with the day's case. At the end of each episode, the host would be given a piece of paper with a statement by another kid, usually something like,
"I got punished for being dumb. As a punishment, my parents pushed me out the airlock and into space."
The host would read it aloud and ask the jury if they thought the punishment was fair or unfair, and they would yell their response. Nickelodeon's Kids Court ran from 1988 until 1989 for just one season and a total of 26 episodes, and Nickelodeon would air this show as reruns until the early to mid-1990s. It was produced by Chauncey Street Productions and filmed in New York City, New York, United States. Like I said, this was pretty much the people's court for kids. I didn't really watch it much as a child. I do remember it being on in the background while I'd be reading my comic books or playing with my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It just simply wasn't for me. But now you know, I just have to ask. Were you a fan of Nickelodeon's Kids Court? Did you ever send a letter to this show? And if so, was it featured? Do you have any comments or fun facts? Maybe I forgot something, or maybe you have a suggestion for a future video, or just want to drop in and say hello. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you. You guys are awesome. And unfortunately with that, we've come to the end of another School of Boredom Nickelodeon Edition video. I've been your host, Bats, and I hope you had a good time today as we talked about the somewhat limited information of the testimony of Nickelodeon's Kids Court. Be sure to check back next time because you never know what we have in store. And as usual, think for yourselves, be excellent to each other, and as usual, keep it creepy. Oh, Nickelodeon. You flew too close to the sun. Hey, School of Boredom fans! There's only one Nickelodeon episode left this season, so be sure to check in for that, and you won't believe what we've got coming next. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more of our weird, creepy, odd, eccentric, or strange content as soon as it comes out, please feel free to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. We'll see you later. Keep it creepy.